Alrighty, so we are back here yapping about some video games. In the background, you guys can see some Black Ops 6. Little bit of update, I finished out almost every single gun in the game getting diamond. The last one I have left is the baseball bat, which has been a super tedious grind, so I threw some gameplay of that on in the background, but I did want to talk about a little more of the video games that I mentioned in my last video. I wound up going back and watching the entire Xbox Direct, not just the Doom trailer, and I have a few critiques, but I'm mainly optimistic for these games. As you guys know, I talked a lot about the new Doom game coming out, Doom the Dark Ages, and although I think a lot of what that game is doing is phenomenal, the art direction's amazing, the soundtrack looks amazing, I actually like some of the gameplay changes that they made. It feels like they're going back to some of those more classic Doom games. I am a little bit weary about taking or reinventing the glory kills and some of the movement changes, but when they actually broke away from the gameplay earlier on in those trailers and kind of had the developers show the different movements that can happen throughout the map, it actually looked like it could be pretty cool. So I have faith in Doom and everyone incorporated in making those games. They haven't done anything bad yet, so I think it's going to be a little bit of a shakeup, especially from Doom Eternal, the second one, which was crazy movement. But I personally think I'm going to be turning up all those movement settings that they showed to max, because I want to move super fluid. I want to be very fast. You know, that's my favorite part about those Doom games, is how fast they are. Another thing that I was a little bit weary about that they showed is kind of the exploration factor in Doom. It seems like a lot of these levels are a lot larger now, and there were definitely parts of Doom 2016 and in Doom Eternal where you had to drive and go on the beaten path to find certain things like collectibles. That was one of my favorite things to do, was to get all the collectibles. This game seems like you kind of have to scavenge more for different materials like the health, maybe some armor. I think you go through little dungeons like we saw with that bone grinder or that skull grinder gun. That kind of looked like some of those dungeon runs that you would go through to get those materials. Overall, I don't know how beneficial that will be. I hope that it wasn't an afterthought, and I hope it's actually like ingrained properly in the mechanics and it's worth doing, not just like some random side quest. But if it is a random side quest, I hope that it is for a collectible. Like I said, one of my favorite things about Doom is going back to my main base or my ship or whatever and seeing all the little miniature collectibles that you can get. So hopefully that is a reoccurring thing that they bring into this Doom game. I really hope that it's in there, because if it's not, I will be so sad. It's one of my favorite features. I just felt that I had to talk a little bit about you know, some more stuff that I thought about the Doom game. From the trailer alone, it looks amazing, but I did want to deep dive and kind of make a part 2, so to speak, and kind of talk about some of the other opinions that I had in regards to Doom the Dark Ages. Another game that I mentioned in my last video was the new Ninja Gaiden game. Ninja Gaiden 4 is coming out, and this game and the next game that I'm going to talk about are really why I wanted to make a follow-up video to my last video. Ninja Gaiden 4 is one of those games that I obviously didn't know much about the series, but looking at the gameplay and kind of looking back at the older games, it instantly reminded me of those Xbox 360 days where there was just some crazy over-the-top game where you were sliding on rails, you were doing these crazy wall jumps. There was amazing combo strings. Like, it is just a classic game. It's one of those games that is just cool. Like, it just has rewarding combat systems. It's fun to look at. It's just, I don't know, it just feels like a game that I would play as a kid, but in the year 2025. With that being said, I really hope they hit the nail on the head. Everything looks great. Everything looks like it's lined up to be great, and I'm actually really excited to dive into the Ninja Gaiden world and learn about the games. I just really hope that they can deliver. They have all the classic, like, core gameplay things that I remember playing and seeing in games growing up. So I'm super excited for Ninja Gaiden 4 and just the Ninja Gaiden series. It looks like a blend of just, you know, the new 2025 like graphics and feeling and fluidity, but in combination with some of those classic nostalgic like Xbox 360 era games and PS2 games that I love so much. Speaking of games that have these elements and these core aspects from games that I hold near and dear to my heart and just nostalgic games growing up, we actually have a game coming out called Expedition 33. Now, this was also shown in the Xbox Developer Showcase, and this game is not only the studio's first game, but it looks like the most beautiful thing I think I've ever seen in gaming in a long time. I just got done saying that Doom looked insane. This game is a like reinvention of a turnstile game, which for a lot of people might not spark interest initially, but I just instantly go back to a time in my life where I was a kid playing these browser games that were turn-based, these MMO styled games that were turn-based, all the Pokemon games growing up, all those turn-based games it was just such a core part of why I started loving video games. And the developers in this premiere even mentioned that like those were elements of games that they loved growing up, and so they really wanted to create an idea and create a game that harnessed and honed in on those by revamping them as well. If you guys haven't checked out anything for Expedition 33, I definitely recommend you check it out. It's their first game, and I think it comes out relatively soon. I think it's in April, but that game I just need to succeed so bad. It's a beautiful game. It looks like there's a ton of passion behind it. The score sounds amazing. I think the story design is also amazing. It's got a crazy just concept behind it. It really reminds me of like some of my favorite animes that just have this crazy concept behind it, and then like see how the world built on top of it and see how the story like interlaces with that, and it's a really cool constant to have. Outside of that, I'm just super excited to play a turn-style game. I can't remember the last time I played like a true turn-style game. Obviously Pokemon's always in there, but outside of Pokemon. I say all this to say, basically, I need these games to succeed just for the betterment of video games in general. Obviously, Doom seems to be taking back to its roots a little bit and kind of moving a little more on the ground opposed to in the air, which is up for interpretation. I think it's still going to be good. I'm optimistic for it, but we'll see. But even more importantly, Ninja Gaiden 4 and Expedition 33 have these core elements of just what, in my opinion, made gaming so good at such a young age of my life, and just it was just fun. It was these games like Astrobot last year that were just fun games. You would see it, you'd watch someone play through it and be like, yo, that looks fun. Even if I know the story already, I want to play it. I want to, you know, see what I can do in the game. And then you'd buy the game, and it was great. So I really hope that these games do really well. We've seen a lot of good indie games coming out recently. Like, I think Nine Souls was a pretty good indie game, and we've just seen a plethora of indie games kind of come in and take the world by storm while some of these AAA games were kind of flopping. It would be really nice to kind of see the pace change a little bit and say like, hey, here are these great game mechanics that we used to do, that AAA titles used to make, and just kind of say they're back, you know, they never should have gone anywhere. They can still make these great games. All in all, I'm just super excited for Expedition 33 and Ninja Gaiden 4, two games that before this reveal event I didn't even know existed, and now I am so heavily invested in them because they just have this core idea of just, you know, good game mechanics and good things that I remember growing up in video games. So sorry this video was a ton of me just yapping and a little bit of backtracking on Doom, but not for anything that I saw in the trailer. I'm still stupid hyped for the game. I just wanted to embellish a little more of my ideas here because I didn't think I did the best job when I was just oohing and eyeing over the trailer. All in all, like I said, stupid excited for Doom and very excited to see how Ninja Gaiden 4 and Expedition 33 wind up panning out. If you guys haven't checked them out, please do. If you're anything like me, there's a like warm part in your heart for these two specific games, and I'm going to be streaming them. Hopefully Ninja Gaiden 4, maybe not, but it looks amazing. I might have to stream it anyway. It looks so cool. But either way, thank you guys so much for listening to another video of me just yapping, and hopefully these games turn out really well. I really need these games to do good and hopefully set the tone for, you know, games in the future. 2025 is already stacked, but it'd be even cooler to see 2026, you know, capitalize on some of these cool features and some of these just core memories in video games kind of getting a new revamp feel to them. Even if it's in a completely different game, I just want the emotion and some of the fun there. But yeah, as always, thank you guys so much for watching another video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.